Hey friends, how about making some flowers with the leftover felt that I have? As you can see, is I'm just cutting the strips, random strips, completely no measurements, but I would say around 3 inches each. Folding it in half because it's easier to cut. Because we're on a mission here to make some kind of flowers. We shall see how it happens. So I am just cutting slits, not all the way to the end, and then of course as I go back, I'm just rounding them off, trying to make sure that my the cut portion is just not cut through. So all what I need to do is just a little bit of a flare. And the reason that you fold them in half, it's because you're cutting a bigger surface. We are making them by hand. So that's it. I just simply created some kind of a spiky prongs into the center. And as you can see, is when you fold, a lot of times you just have to go back and cut singularly because in the folds, that good cuts don't happen. Thank goodness there's not many of those areas. So that's it. All is rounded off. So I made two strips. I made one of them with the cut with the wider cuts, and then the other one with the little bit closer. So that's it. And I always use what I've got. So I wanted to decorate my pig from Dollar Tree. I just needed some kind of a decoration for my vase. So I decided to wrap a little bit of the tissue right at the end of one of how do you call this, the stems um, from the Dollar Tree pick, and hot glue them together to make sure that I do have a nice base. And then that's it. Then we're going to start to install. English is so hard for me this today. So as you can see, is just make sure as you do it to not to touch the hot glue directly. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just to disguise the tissue. I am going to apply a little bit of the a felt that I had on the side, obviously that little corner, and then I'm going to start with the wider cut strip, and I'm just going to simply wrap it all around it, securing it a bit here and there with the hot glue. And I just so hope that that's going to come up as a flower, some kind of flower. Maybe you have a name for it, but hey, I'm just covering two stems from the pick. And I can see that there is some kind of a flower already forming in there. So obviously you got to make sure that as you layer this, you do have them right on the bottom, on the same level. So now I'm installing the one that had a little bit of a smaller cuts. That means they were a little bit close together, and just simply doing the same thing. Not much hot glue there is needed. What I usually like to do is I like to bring a little bit of a stem, or of course all my crafting garbage and all the cuts that I had, and simply cover with the additional leaf that I had from the stem to just simply disguise the bottom of our flower. So as always, when I apply the hot glue, I squeeze, I smooshed, I press, I pull. This is like at least, obviously in this flower. All what I'm trying to do is just use what I have on my table. And I think it's pretty good. Wish I had maybe a second leaf or maybe half a leaf to cover. But hey, it looks pretty good. When all dries down and the hot glue is going to get harder, all is going to look good. So I'm actually super pleased with this one. Now I have one more prong, one more stem on my pick that I think I know what I'm going to make. I need for sure here a bigger flower. See, I'm adding right now a second one because I did not want to see the bottom of my leaf. I mean, the bottom of my flower. Look how stinking awesome that looks. Yep, I love it. Okay, so now I do have a second one. For this one, I am going to cut a slightly wider strip because I do want it to bring, obviously, the volume. As with everything, I am starting with the heart. So the heart, I'm using the tiny strip, even smaller than the one I cut for the previous flower. And again, doing the same thing, sandwiching this all up and cutting my little slits right at the folded side. And of course, it's very difficult um, when you have a felt folded like 3 or 4 times to cut it. So my big heavy duty scissors are doing the work. So in this one, I'm not going to worry about cutting the little profiles to each of the cuts. I'm just going to simply cut them, just to have a volume. So now with this flower, I don't need no tissue. I'm just going directly hot glue that folded half to my stem and go from there. Yes, it is going to be a little bit uncomfortable because we're installing it straight on a pick, but everything is manageable. But notice when you install that folded strip of felt, everything opens up and already creates a super fun flower that you could have just actually only keep on adding and maybe create some kind of mum. But I was on a different mission. So as you can see, is I'm using literally the reminder piece of my felt, and I just simply fold it in half and I'm cutting the long strips. It's again, I would say a half an inch apart, not all the way to the end, and of course I'm starting it on the folded side. So that's going to add me more of a volume. Remember, I was looking to make a little bit of a bigger flower for that pick. So it's again, I'm going through the stage of cutting the folded areas, and everything seems to be all good. So now, the same as with everything, I'm just adding right to the base of whatever I've created, my freshly cut felt, and I'm hot gluing it here and there. Now check this one out. Do you see how awesome all those cuts are creating such a nice interest right on my flower? Absolutely love it. I'm always amazed. Sometimes make the cuts on an angle. That's even more interesting when it falls, but I just did not want to confuse you. We will for sure make some that are cut on the angle. But now look what happens again. All my crafting garbage in there, a couple of the leaves, and my flower is all done. I just cannot wait to show you how to how that look together. Now check this one out. Here is uh, here is in my vase that I've actually painted over from that I've got at the thrift store, and it was just full of pink colors, and I just simply decided to age that little bit. Absolutely love my little decoration right there. So I really so hope that I inspired you. I mean, if you do not have a felt, you can use anything, any fabric literally, to make this and create your own fall pics. Absolutely love it. So it's again, thanks for watching, and I so hope that you are inspired. Bye.